Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Python scripting tutorial. In this video we're going to look at creating a custom node group for the compositor. So let's just jump right in. Go ahead and load up your scripting layout. If you've already got one, go ahead and open it up. If you don't, just go over here to the scripting workspace. Now I'm just going to go through here and tidy this up. We don't need this, we don't need this. And then let's change it from the 3D view to the compositor. So the way this works, we're going to create a custom node group, but we need a panel, just like we have with the Darkfall VFX nodes. So first we need a panel, and then we can create the custom group, and then we can tie it all in with an operator. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Templates, go to Python, and then if we scroll up, we can find the UI panel simple. And then if you want, you can change this name to and make sure we save it as a .py so this script will work. Then you can go to text, save as, and then just navigate to a folder where you want to save this to. So now we have this template, we can go through it and change the things that need to be changed. So we've done this a few times in previous videos, so I'm going to speed through this. The class name, that doesn't need to be changed, but I'm going to change it anyway. So I'm going to call this node_pt_main panel. We can get rid of this tooltip here, we don't need it. Now the label refers to the name on top of the panel, so I'm going to name this custom node group. But again, you can call this whatever you want, it's entirely up to you. The BLID name can also be changed, or you can keep it the same, it's up to you. I'm going to change this to node_pt_main panel. Then for the space type, I'm going to change this to the node_editor, and then change this from window to UI. And then if we want to create a new tab, I want to change this to category. And I'm just going to add a name here. You can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call it new tab. And then inside here we have a whole bunch of stuff we don't need. So I'm going to select from object all the way down to this last row.prop. Select all this and delete it. I'm just going to keep these two lines here. And then the register and unregister, if you've changed this name, make sure we paste this new name in. Like so. So now we have our custom main panel. If we run the script, we can see we have a new tab, we have our main panel, and we have a button that adds a cube. Now that's not going to make sense in our add-on, so let's go ahead and get rid of all this. And then when we've created the custom operator, we can just come back and paste in the ID name here. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to make a bit of space here. Then let's go to the beginning of a new line. Now we need to define the custom node group, so I'm going to type def, then I'm going to type create_test_group. Again, you can name this whatever you want. Then I'm going to open and close parentheses, then add a colon. Inside the parentheses, I'm going to type context, comma, space, operator, comma, space, group_name. Then hit return. So we want to start adding things, but if we try to do that now, if we say for example Shift A, try to add in one of these nodes, we can't, it's grayed out. And we know that's because the use nodes option isn't activated. So that's the first thing I'm going to do inside this custom group. And if you want to find out how to do that, we could do that a couple of ways. We can first hover the mouse over the option, and we can see the Python tooltip there. Or if we click it, then we can see down here in the info, it says bpy.context.scene.use_nodes equals true. So that's all we need here. If we click this, Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it, and there we go. So now we'll be using the nodes. I'm just going to comment this. So yeah, the idea is we're going to create a node group. So let me just delete these nodes. So what is a custom node group? Well, if we go to the Darkfall VFX nodes add-on, I'm just going to add in one of these just to show you. This is a custom node group. It's essentially a whole bunch of nodes inside one node to tidy everything up. So if I press tab just to go inside it, we can see this is what it is. We have a group input, a group output, and then everything in between is our nodes and they're all connected. We also have some options we can play around with, and we can define what options we want to show and what we don't. You can also see the color of the node. We can change things like that, the width, and a whole bunch of other things. So that's the idea. You can go ahead and create something more complex with this, but in this example we're just going to add a mixed node and then create a group for it. So now I'm going to create another reference. I'm going to call this test underscore group. And again, if this is something different, if you're creating a glitch group, you'd call this glitch underscore group, but we're creating a test group, so I'm going to use this. Equals bpy dot data dot node underscore groups dot new, then open and close parentheses. Inside here I'm going to type group underscore name, comma, then apostrophe apostrophe. Then inside here I'm going to type compositor node tree. Now we are going to be adding a color mix node, so I might as well add it in here. And then we're going to be creating a group. So normally what we'd do, we just press Ctrl G without using Python, and this is what we get. We have a group input, a group output, and whatever nodes we add, and they're connected up as well. But when we start typing out the code, we won't have that. So just delete the mix node. We're first going to be adding a group input, but we also need to define what inputs we want. So if I'm just go to here, change this. I'm just going to get rid of these for now. So it's going to be blank by default, and we can add whatever inputs that we want. So I'm going to go here and create a reference for it. I'm going to type group underscore in equals test underscore group, which is this reference here. So instead of typing out all of this, we just type out this. So test underscore group dot nodes dot new, and then inside the parentheses we would just want to type the name of the node that we want to add, and this would be a node group input. Now we've added this group node, it will be added to the center, which would be 0, 0. So we can define things like the location, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the reference group underscore in dot location equals, and then we can type what location we want to add this in. By default it's going to be 0, 0, and in one of the previous videos we talked about the left column and the right column and what they represent. And if you want to check out any of the previous videos, there'll be a link to the playlist up here. So for this I just want to move it over to the left, so let's say -200, something like that. So I'm going to type this reference again, this test group. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in here. Then I'm going to type dot inputs dot new, then open and close parentheses, and then inside here I'm going to type apostrophe twice, and then inside the apostrophe we can define what kind of socket we want to add. Now you'll notice there are different types of sockets that you can plug into depending on what node you're using. So I'm going to type node socket factor, and then after the apostrophe I'm going to hit comma, and then apostrophe apostrophe again, and then here is just going to be the name that's displayed. So I'm going to type factor value. So let's add another one. I'm going to copy all of this, paste it. So test underscore group dot inputs dot new node socket, and I'm going to change this from a factor to a color, and we can change the name of this to color input. And again, you can add as many sockets as you want, that's entirely up to you. The next thing we need to do is create the group output, and that's very much the same way that we did this, and we could copy all of this if we wanted to, but I'm just going to type it out. We first need to create a reference, so I'm going to call this group underscore out. Then we can type equals. I'm going to be a little bit lazy and just copy all of this, and then paste it here. So test underscore group dot nodes dot new. Node group, well, it's no longer an input, we actually need an output. And again we can define the location, so copy the reference, paste it, dot location. And then since we're going to add a few nodes, we can imagine this is -200, the group in. And then I'm going to add maybe 2 nodes in here, so I'm going to say this can be 400. So this is going to be 400, comma 0. So let's go ahead and add the last socket, and we'll see it's very much the same. It's almost exactly the same. But if we type test underscore group dot outputs dot new, so instead of it being input, it's now outputs. And then let's type the name of the socket. This would be a node socket color. And again, add a comma, and the name would be output. So now we have a group input and a group output. Now we can add any of the nodes that we want to add. So I'm going to Shift A, go to color. I'm going to add in a mix node. I'm probably going to also add in, I don't know, maybe a box mask, just so we can connect this up to maybe here, and then we can connect this up to here. Just so it gives you the idea that we can add multiple nodes and then also connect them up. By the end, we should have a node that works. So that's the idea. Let me just get rid of these connections. So let's go ahead and add these nodes in here. First, let's create a reference. I'm going to call this mask underscore node equals test underscore group, which is this reference here. So test underscore group dot nodes dot new, open and close parentheses, then in here type equals, and then we can type the name of whatever node we want to add. So to do that, if we Shift A, go to color, for example, if we wanted to add an alpha over node, or if you click it and then right click, we can see the name of it here. But for this mask node, I'm going to type compositor node box mask, I think it is. Then we're going to define the location like we did with the other ones. So if this is -200, this one is going to be 0. And then let's quickly add in the last one. So this would be a mix node equals, and we can copy all of this here, paste this in, and instead of it being a box mask, it's actually a mix RGB. Let's also set the location. Location, and this is going to be 200, 0. So it should place it around here. Now we could change these values and these options to be anything we want. For example, if we wanted to make sure that the clamp was enabled, what we'd need to do is first type out the reference. So mix underscore node. Then if we hit dot, so for this it would be use underscore clamp equals true. So when this node is created, the clamp will be activated by default. And if you want to know what the names are for things, if you actually do it, it now shows us down here in the info what the code is. So it's dot use underscore clamp equals true. Same thing we did here. And we can do the same thing for the blend type, or for the alpha, or for any other node. We can change any of the properties just by doing the same thing. So I'm just going to do it one more time for this mix node here. Click this, change it to one of these, let's say darken. We can see what we need to change. So let's type the reference. Mix underscore node dot blend underscore type equals. Then we need to make sure we type it in capitals like here. For this I'm going to give it an overlay just to be different. So again, if you wanted to do that for the mask node, let's say we wanted to change the rotation, we just type mask underscore node dot rotation equals 1, or whatever value you want. So again, this works with all the nodes. You can define any of the values you want. Now the next thing we need to do is link the nodes together. So we need to create these connections wherever we want to create them. So let's do that here. First I need to type test underscore group, which is this reference again. So test underscore group dot links dot new. So open and close parentheses. So now we just need to type the name and the index number of the nodes that we want to connect. So for example, we want to connect the box mask to the mix node, and we know the reference names of them here. We know this is called mask underscore node, and this one is called mix underscore node. So inside here, I'm going to type mask underscore node dot outputs, then open and close brackets. Then in here, we're just going to type the index number. So this is 0. You can see the output here only has 1, and it starts with 0. Then after the bracket, I'm going to type comma, Then we need to type mix underscore node dot inputs. So here it's outputs, which is outputs. On this one it's inputs, which is inputs. And again, open and close brackets, and then type the index number. So I want this to be connected to the first image slot here, so that'll be index number 1. So all we need to do now really is just copy this and change the names and index numbers of the ones that we want to connect. So I'm going to connect the inputs. Now again, we could type test underscore group dot links dot new. That'd be a waste of time. Let's create a convenience variable. So just creating a variable so we can type less words, essentially is what it is. So I'm going to type link equals, and then all we need is this section here. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. So now we have this. Instead of typing out all of this, we can delete it, and we only need to type link. So again, it's more convenient. Instead of typing out all these words, we can now just type link and then just link the two nodes. So let's go ahead and finish this off. We're going to type group underscore in, because the group input, dot outputs, since we're taking the output, and then we just want to open and close brackets. Then in here we can type the name of the input, but we'd need to make sure we type it exactly the same way. So this would be factor value, like that. Or if you want, which I find is easier, if we just delete all of this. So we know the factor value is going to be the first socket that's going to be added, and the index number for this is going to be 0, as everything is. And this index number is going to be 1. So instead of typing out the names, I'm actually just going to type out the index number, and it's a lot easier. I'm going to type comma, and then we want to connect the first factor to this factor here. And again, that's pretty simple. We just type mix underscore node dot inputs, open and close brackets, and the index is 0. So we should now have this. So do the same. I'm going to copy this one, paste it. So the group underscore in dot outputs, this can be changed to 1. Then the mix underscore node dot inputs, this is going to go to the last one, which is 2. And now we should have this. And then finally we need to connect up the mix node to the output. So link mix underscore node dot outputs, and there's only one output, so that's going to be 0, comma group underscore out dot inputs, since there's only inputs that we can use, and it's going to be 0. So now we should have that. So now we should have this. The nodes are all connected, they're all there. The last thing we need to do is return, and then we want to type test underscore group. So now we've created the custom node group, we can tie it all in with an operator. So go to the beginning of a new line, type class, then I'm going to name this node underscore OT underscore test, open and close parentheses, then add a colon. In between the parentheses, I'm going to type bpy dot types dot operator. Then we can give this a label and an ID name. Then for this I'm going to say add custom node group, then bl underscore ID name. I'm going to call this node dot test underscore operator. Then we need to define what's going to be executed. Type def execute, open and close parentheses, and then add a colon. In between here, I'm going to type self, comma, context. So first let's give the node a name. Custom underscore node underscore name equals, and then we can give this a name. Call this whatever you want. Then I'm going to define which group's going to be added. So my underscore group equals. Now we need to type the name of the group, which is this name here. So copy this and then paste it in here. Then open and close parentheses, and we just want to type a few parameters. So self, comma, context. comma custom underscore node underscore name. So now I have this. I'm going to create another reference. So I'm going to call this test underscore node equals context dot scene dot node underscore tree dot nodes dot new. Open and close parentheses. Then in here we just want to type the name of the node that we want to add to the compositor. So it's going to be this node group. So we want to type compositor node group. Now we can type test underscore node dot node underscore tree equals bpy dot data dot node underscore groups, and then open and close brackets, and in here we can type my underscore group dot name. And then we can change a whole bunch of things like the color of the node or the width of the node. Again, that's entirely up to you. I'm just going to show you real quick how you do that. So test underscore node dot use underscore custom underscore color, I think it is, equals true. So once we said that you can use a custom color, we're then going to give it a color. So test underscore node dot color equals, and then we'll give this a random color. So maybe, I don't know, maybe 0.5 comma 0.4 comma 0.3, something like that. I don't know. So now we have this. We just need to type one last thing, and that is to return open and close brace. Then I'm going to add 2 apostrophes. In between the apostrophes and in capitals, I'm going to type finished. Then we need to make sure that we register this operator. So let's copy this, scroll down, paste this in just for now, copy this, paste it, copy this one, paste it, and then I'm just going to replace these, and there we go. And then the last thing we need to do is make sure we add that button here. So if we go to the operator and then take the ID name, so I'm going to copy this and then go up to the panel, and then here where it says row.operator, just paste that in. Then if we hit run script, we should now have the add custom node group button, I guess. Let me just delete this one, we no longer need it. Then if we click this, hopefully there will be no errors. So I just got an error, and that's because, let me see where it is. It said 26. Yeah, instead of data, I typed Dara, which is not a thing. So you guys probably already noticed that, and we're shouting at the screen to tell me to change it, but I don't know. Now we've got this, make sure we run the script and then click add custom node. And we can see if we scroll out, we now have this custom node here. So it says test node, it's got an orange color. If we tab into it, we have the nodes that we added. So overlay, clamp, they're all connected the way they should. And there you go, you've just created a custom node group. So now you could go ahead and add a whole bunch of nodes like I did in the VFX nodes. You can see there's loads of different effects and types that you could use here. So there we go, there's the custom node group. If you guys want to download this script, I'll make sure to leave a link in the blog, so go ahead and check that out. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.